Okay, my name is Alex. Okay, my name is Alex Hutchinson. I'm a designer on Spore, and I'll be demoing the game for you guys. This is still pretty much the E3 build we're demoing, but hopefully it's got some new bits and pieces that everyone can get excited about. The two parts I'm showing are Creature Game and Space Game. Creature Game gives us an opportunity to talk about a lot of the gameplay, and Space Game lets us sort of talk about the scope and the scale of the game. The part of the game that precedes Creature that I won't be showing today is Cell Game. Cell Game is basically a tutorial for the main game. So it's fixed camera, very simple. You're basically eating, each thing you eat increases your size. When you get to a certain size, you can start adding parts to your little cell creature. Basically training you that the game is about creativity, it's about making your own stuff, and getting you used to the controls. So let's start off in Creature Game. In the final shipping version, you will actually emerge from the primordial soup as a sort of a slug, and the reason we want to do that is because we want to basically give you a blank canvas to start the game. So you'll be looking at this sort of, a simple creature and thinking, you know what, I really don't want to be a slug. I want to be a dragon, or I want to be a six-headed hydra, or anything you can possibly imagine. One of the cool things you can see here immediately is that all of the flora and all of the creatures that you see are actually made by other players. All of the content in Spore is pulled down from other players and put into your world to always create a fresh and new experience every time you play. So that obviously means in this instance these were made by the development team, because we're the only people playing it right now. But so there's sort of a zebra sort of hybrid thing here, and there's a creature Will made, which could have got nice rubbery legs. There's sort of a cute pink sort of hedgehoggy creature in here, in these woods. There's sort of like a sort of a reptile over there. Let's go and take control of our hero. So Creature Game, like Cell Game, is an avatar-based game, and what I mean by that is you directly control your creature. You have a personal creature that is you. You can control the guy with the mouse or with the WASD keys. And the reason for that is we really wanted the game to be accessible. We wanted anyone to be able to play the game and be a success without having to learn complicated controls or figure it out. So if you're a Sims player and you're used to everything working on the left mouse button, you can still do that. You can click on the ground, or you could click on these guys, or you click on friends, or other features in the world, and the game will help you out. It'll say, well, this guy's an enemy, you're going to need to beat him up, or this thing is food, you should go and eat it. But if you're a WoW player or a hardcore player, you can go WSD and the camera switches over, and you can set that pitch wherever you like, wherever you feel good, and it works just pretty much like any other PC action game. If I go over here, you also see something else. When I said before that all of these creatures actually come from a central server, I'm not just talking about their physical characteristics, it's also true of their personality. So if you make a guy that looks like that, with an aggressive mouth and a big, club on his tail, he's going to act like a mean character in the game as well. He's going to protect his eggs if I wander over there. So let's go a different way. Go into the forest and attack some of these tiny pink things. They don't look too bad. So we go here, we start thumping on them. These look like social creatures. They're small, they're pink, they're in a really large herd. So they're probably all going to start, defending their mate now that I've killed him. Oh yeah. I'll quickly grab a snack while I'm waiting. Something you'll notice here is that there is a very light motive game running through Creature, so you do need to survive. If you're a carnivore, you need to find meat. If you're a herbivore, you need to find fruit. If you're an omnivore, you can do both, but less efficient. You also probably noticed there was a little DNA helix that appeared above the creature's head when I killed that guy. What there was DNA points, which is the currency in Creature Game. The DNA points is what I spend in the editor to make my creature, or to change my creature. So now that I've got some points, let's call out and see if anyone's interested in love. Here we go. This is a sped up version of the mating ritual that will eventually ship, so it's kind of combining the nest building, the mating, and the egg laying all in one moment, so that it demos a little faster. But eventually, issues like where to build the nest are a relevant question, because this is a really bad spot to build the nest. Like if you look around, it's pretty open, there's plenty of other animals around, and eggs are basically snacks for carnivores. So as soon as I've laid eggs, anything within 200 miles, if it's this obvious, will come and attack it. And sure enough, here's some guys. Get away from my eggs. This is pretty cool. All of the other creatures in my species know that these eggs belong to us, and they'll actually help me out and scare creatures away, and that's pretty cool. Once they're ready to hatch, you can go into the editor, which is one of the core tenets of Spore, player creativity. A lot of the, the reporting I've seen recently has sort of been seeming to say that there are these editors on the side and, there's this massive game at its heart. But really, to us, making things is half the game. It is actually gameplay. Building these creatures is gameplay. And one of the interesting things about that is when you say, okay, we're going to make you creative as a player, what actually happens is we better not make the things you make look stupid, So if you're going to say be creative, you want to make cool things, and you want it to be easy to make cool things, and you also want the tool to be easy to use. And the guys have done a great job, I think, because at the moment, if you want to get rid of a leg, it's as simple as grabbing it and throwing it away. If you say these spikes don't really work for me anymore, you can just grab them and throw them away. If you want to change the spine, you simply grab it, retract, and then say, I'll draw the shape that I want the spine to be. If you want something to be larger, you just scale it with the mouse wheel. If you want to replace something, you can just stomp it. And there's about 400 parts in the editor, base parts, which is really a big number to start with, but they all have different morph channels. And all these morph channels mean that there's actually virtually an infinite amount of content you can get in there, because you can put these parts wherever you like, you can scale them, move them, rotate them, morph them all over the place. One other cool thing is, lots of games make the player feel stupid. They basically say, here's the right way to play it, and if you don't do it exactly this way, we're going to put up a big game over screen and kick you out. Spore is trying to say, no, the player should always be, the player should always feel like they're smart, So anything that you do, we're going to support. So if you say, you know what, my creature has one giant eye, and he has a mouth on his butt, then we're going to say that's perfectly fine. This creature is valid, just like the last creature you made. This creature is valid. He can still eat, he can still call out to his friends and still do all the things you saw the last creature do. He just looks like you want him to look. The texturing is the same. We're trying to make you feel smart. If you say I want to change that yellow to a blue, you don't want it to be a flat blue. You know what I mean? So we give you the blue you asked for, but we make sure that it looks cool. There's actually a gradient of blue that surrounds that. There's actually a bit of depth to it. The artists have done a great job there. When you take that back into the game, I'll skip the baby part, blinding white light. And here you can see, it knows, the little head knows it's the head, and so I can move that and it will track my mouse cursor. It knows the head is where the mouth is, and if I tell it to call, you see everything still works. And the gait itself, even the legs, now with these two funky legs, he's still getting about. The other thing that earning DNA points does is it upgrades your brain. So the more points you earn, this little bar fills up that surrounds the brain icon there. Each time it fills up once, you upgrade. Your creature gets smarter, and you get another row of parts in the editor to play with. And when you upgrade 4 times, you can go to Tribe Game. We skip through Tribe Game quickly because we won't get straight to space. But Tribe Game basically transforms the game into a simplified RTS. So it's a real-time strategy game where you're group selecting members of your tribe and sending them out to harvest resources. And you're spending those resources on tools for your tribe. So you might invent a fire pit or a spear rack. And what it's really doing is it's not so much StarCraft as telling the story of your creature becoming a sedentary creature. They're settling down, they're working as a group now, they're not so much a solo animal. Of course, everything is still customizable. You can still build the hut. You can make it look like anything you want. You can redo all of the flora in the world. You can grab any plant and build it any way you like. In City Game, it's a simplified version of SimCity. So basically, you're placing buildings and placing farms around and trying to balance the happiness of your populace so that the population increases. Again, everything is customizable. All of these buildings, all these editors are as deep as the creature editor, which you saw, previously. So you can make the buildings you like. You can make the vehicles, air, land, and sea any way you like. And again, the game will figure out how to make these things animate. Don't worry about, you make something you think looks cool, we'll make it work for you. In Civilization Game, which comes after City, you're basically trying to conquer the globe. So all of these other cities have started to spring up over the globe, and you're basically trying to take them over culturally, diplomatically, or militarily. And so if you come across a little town like this, you have to look at it and figure out what is the appropriate strategy. Another cool thing is that all of these buildings are pollinated as well. So in other words, they're all been created by other players and then placed in your game based on rule sets that we've designed. Another really cool